Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Essay. My name is Sean, and so we're gonna be picking up with Doomsday Clock issue 5. I know I'm very late on it, but how damn is this such a good book? Is Doomsday Clock so good? Anyway, I can't go over time, and I really need to stick to script because there's just too much in this. So we pick up basically the story with Adrian Veidt, Ozymendiaz, after escaping from an attempted killing from the comedian. He finds himself basically in hospital. And now the police have cuffed him to the bed. Why? Because, number one, he's wearing a costume. So I think there's a premise here that they think he's a metahuman. And now he's also linked to this assassination of Lex Luthor. He obviously, very easily, he makes his escape by pretending that he's dead, and drawing the guards into his room, stealing the guard's uniform, and leaving very quickly and in a hurry. Now, this is cool because we pick up with Lois Lane and Clark Kent, who are actually investigating the Superman theory. So, quick recap. The Superman theory is the whole fact. If you haven't been keeping up a lot with Doomsday Clock or reading the tidbits at the end, the Superman theory is that there is basically everyone is up against arms against the US. Why? Because a bunch of the metahumans, a bunch of the superheroes and the supervillains that have been created along the years, I guess, of the world, all of them seem to resonate from the United States of America. Now, this is an issue because the rest of the world is looking at this and like, the United States of America is actually manufacturing superheroes or supervillains. Basically, they find human beings with this meta gene, they activate the meta gene, and then this is what they're doing. So there's sort of, and the world has fallen basically, and the world in its as a second part here, they've basically fallen into a trend of not trusting superheroes at the same time. This deals with Batman. So a lot of Gotham civilians are actually protesting against Batman. So I guess we're seeing that like the Russians have also closed their borders since they're also opposed to Superman. The Superman theory, as well as there seems to be like this arms race for metahumans and supermen to be, I guess, in the rest of the world outside of the United States of America. Now, there are two big issues here. One is the Superman theory, and which is more of an international and a global issue. The second thing is that not trusting costumed heroes, which is also being fueled by the Superman theory, but most predominantly in Gotham City, where a lot of people don't trust Batman and they don't trust what he's doing. And we're going to jump into that a bit more. And why is that? So Adrian Veidt goes back basically to Archimedes, the ship he basically arrived in, and he finds it empty. Marionette and Mime have obviously escaped, but he finds their Batman. And Batman, having read everything in Rorschach's diary, he knows exactly who Adrian Veidt is. Now, quickly, Mime and Marionette have obviously been going around on a killing spree, killing a bunch of the Joker's men, looking for the Joker while all of this is happening. And in the meantime, the comedian is actually hunting Marionette and Mime at the same time. So it's actually kind of interesting. I really want to see how this plays out. So, but that's currently what's happening with them. And in the pursuit of the Joker, found out that the Joker is going to be at a certain spot later on tonight and so on. So they basically go and pursue that. Now, just to jump back, with this conversation with Batman and Ozymandias, it's very cool. Why? Because Batman obviously realizes, I think through the conversation and listening to the news at the same time, that Rorschach has actually escaped from prison. Now, this is to Ozymandias it's not very surprising, but to Batman it is. Now, the thing is that's happening with Rorschach is that at the end of our last issue, Rorschach and this Jane Doe, no one knows who this woman is. This is obviously Saturn Girl. So this Jane Doe and Rorschach basically escaped Arkham Asylum. Now, quickly, Saturn Girl. To explain who Saturn Girl is, she's this telepath who can read people's minds, but she's not from this era. She's actually from an era called, much later in the future with the future of the Justice League is going to be called the Legion of Heroes. So, and she's basically coming there from the future. The problem is like all of that has been forgotten. Why? Because of what Dr. Manhattan has done. And it's the same thing here. So as they escape, from Arkham Asylum, they basically, I mean, Saturn Girl and Rorschach, they get their stuff together, and Saturn Girl's like, listen, we need to go find this guy Johnny Thunder. And the problem is, Johnny Thunder is a much older man here. Now, the whole premise here with Johnny Thunder is that if you don't know his backstory, as well, another result of why of what Dr. Manhattan has done in the DC universe, no one remembers who Johnny Thunder is. But basically, Johnny Thunder was this guy who was basically possessed by a genie. He had like incredible powers when he was possessed by this genie, but basically he's now lost it, and he's just this older man here, but no one realizes, no one knows exactly who he is. Now, obviously, the world has forgotten him because of what Dr. Manhattan has done, but he reads in a newspaper about a green light that destroys a factory mill or something. So he leaves the nursing home that he's currently in. He basically escapes, and he believes that this green light, or this green light that destroyed the factory, is actually a Green Lantern lamp. More specifically, Alan Scott's lantern lamp. Now, that's really cool because we don't know what's going on with Alan Scott. No one even knows that Alan Scott actually existed in DC Rebirth. So this is really cool. I like that we're jumping back into this. So we basically have Rorschach and Saturn Girl after Johnny Thunder, and Johnny Thunder after this lamp. So, but to finish off, and just to jump back, and we'll see how all of this wraps together, with Batman's conversation with Adrian Veidt. And basically, Batman says, Adrian Veidt basically just says, like, Batman, you haven't changed anything in the world. I've seen what you've been doing here. I've seen what costume heroes have been doing here. And the world is not a better place because of you. It's actually even crazier because of you. And this goes on the same premise that this whole thing of superheroes, Cape Crusaders, and the Superman theory, all of this is what, in a ploy to save the world, but we've made the world a bit messier in the process. So, and he's busy saying that at least I did something. Yes, I tried and failed, to save my world. Yes, I did messed up things, but at least I tried something, and at least like the world was better at a certain place, or it has changed to some degree. And Adrian Veidt goes ahead and says, like, maybe that's why Dr. Manhattan actually decided to come to your guys' universe. Maybe he thought he could save it. Maybe he actually thought he could even blend into the chaos of what was going on here. But basically, while Adrian is explaining this, in the confusions of what's going on in the ship, Adrian basically tips the ship over and throws Batman out of the ship. Now, Batman tries to get a grasp of the situation, but the problem is he's been tipped onto the streets where these crowds are protesting against him. They try to grab onto him, and basically he gets beaten up. And now what happens is that he gets picked up by the Joker gang, where Marionette and Mime are, and the Joker shows up, and with Batman and his crew having Batman. And then I think, like, finally in the same scene, we're seeing that Johnny Thunder basically finds this Green Lantern lamp of Alan Scott. Some thugs try to mug him, but Rorschach and Saturn Girl arrive at the same scene at the same time, make quick work of them, and Rorschach is basically holding the Green Lantern lamp of Alan Scott, which is flipping cool. So, yeah, I really can't wait to see what's happening next. I really do. And just so everyone knows, you haven't been missing out a lot on Doomsday, and I haven't really been slow with content on Doomsday. They're just only releasing it like every other month, so like probably one issue a month. Not sure if the writers hit a block at some point or something. So yeah, if you like this comic, if you like this review, if you like the channel, please like and subscribe. You can always chat to me in the comments. Also follow me on Twitter, support us on Patreon, and yeah, I will catch y'all later. Cheers.